I'm here with Katy Klinkenberg. What's up, buddy?
Hi, Kenner. How are you?
I'm all excited about this. This is one of my buddies, and she is venturing into the world of entrepreneurialism. Actually, she's been off and on an entrepreneur, so we get to pick her brain as to what it's like now that she's a real full-fledged entrepreneur.
Thanks. Yeah, what do you got for me?
This is her first time doing a podcast, by the way, right?
Yes, it is.
So even better. So we have to be gentle. We'll she'll be touching her foot in the water, and then we'll make her go dive in full body. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. By the way, this is my first time I've actually been live with someone versus online. So I'm going to have to roll with it too. All right. Let's talk. Katy, tell me about yourself.
Yes. So let's see. I've been a marketing consultant on and off for the last 25 years and worked with companies from very small ones to big companies that are public. I typically come in to help them with, these days, with customer marketing or customer loyalty challenges, trying to figure out if their clients have a satisfactory experience working with the company, helping to figure out where are customers at, and then from that, knowing how to talk to customers, what to change within the organization so they're working better with the customer, and how to communicate well. So all those things.
I gotta tell you, this trips me out. I'm used to seeing her at Dave Matthews Band stuff, and here I am talking business with her. It trips me out. By the way, who am I? Kenner French, vastsolutionsgroup.com, and we again are here with Katy Klinkenberg. Your husband told me the best trait you have is that you're married to him.
Yeah, it's true.
It is true? Nice. All right, so tell me how you actually got to where you are as far as marketing and as an entrepreneur. Give me a little bit more backstory.
Yeah, well, let's see. I started out with Getty Images when it was a teeny tiny company, 10 people, and grew into what it is today. Well, I was with the company went public.
Wow.
Yeah, fun ride. And on and off since then, I've been directing marketing departments or customer loyalty departments, kind of back and forth between the two. And always found it a fun, creative, people involving endeavor. I think if you're in marketing, you need to be a people person, a person who understands how other people think and what they want, trying to figure out what they want to do, because that's what marketing is essentially, right? Trying to appeal to people to come in and be interested in your business.
So customer loyalty, you just remind me of something. So explain a little bit more about customer loyalty.
Yeah, so customer loyalty, customer success, customer experience, I wrap them into one bundle. And it's about understanding if your customers are satisfied, if they're going to come back to you. So many businesses now are reliant upon repeat business. If you're a SaaS company, if you're a company that provides services on an ongoing basis to your clients, if you're a company, even, car manufacturers need to be thinking about customer loyalty, because oftentimes people will come back and buy the same make each year, maybe a different, or each time they buy a car, maybe not the same model. So how you come across as a company and the ways that your services, everything from your billing to your communications to your branding, all those things make an impact on the customer, so they have some sense of who you are. And if those things appeal to the person, they're more likely to come back. And if they don't, they won't.
So this is a rhetorical question, which is cheaper to get and obtain a new customer or a customer, to market to an already existing client or to try to get a new one off the internet?
That is a great question. It is by far and away much less expensive to keep an existing customer than to find a new one.
I think so many businesses, mine included, I'm embarrassed to say, spend so much money and so much time on getting the new client and forget about their existing. Yeah. We've changed, actually, being completely blunt, we've completely changed our new scenario. going forward, actually February 1st. So now we're like spending a lot of time, a lot of money on email marketing on our own database. We have 12,000 people in our database, and we're marketing to those people. We want to kind of put a moat around our business, and hopefully some of our viewers or listeners will do the same thing. So what are some key things to do that? Some of our viewers and listeners might not know of some of the strategies out there.
Yeah, so super important, as you say, to retain your existing customers and to have an explicit strategy for retaining existing customers. A lot of organizations don't think about that. They just assume, they'll stick with us. You really need to think about it, and you need to understand what your customers are experiencing when they interact with your company that's positive, and what they're experiencing that might be negative, and then address the negative things and promote the positive things. And if you're fixing things, let your customers know, because customers want to know that you're working on the relationship. They want to know that you're fixing that customer service problem. I was in the Department of Licensing this morning. Washington State Department of Licensing is not known for outstanding customer service.
No, they're not.
And the man that helped me was extremely nice. And then I got a customer satisfaction survey after I left. I was amazed, and they really... it was clear they were trying to do better, and they asked me lots of questions about my experience, both in setting up the appointment and working through my licensing renewal. And anyway, that type of thing, letting it signals to the customer you're working on it. You're trying to make a better experience for them, and people appreciate that.
So surveys, you think surveys is a good way to get information from your current client base?
Great question. Yeah. Surveys, and not just like, was this positive or negative, but what aspects of the interaction went well, how was this part, how was that part? If it's a complex thing, like let's say you're buying a car, what parts went well and what parts didn't. So then you can start to address the things that maybe didn't go as well. And typically there's a score that you can kind of keep, get a baseline of how well your customers are satisfied, in the first year you do it. And then as you do it in subsequent periods, you can see, are you getting better or are you getting worse? There's, ways to know whether things are on the up and up or not.
What software packages do you suggest, or apps, or whatever the kids call them nowadays, are good at figuring that out?
The ones that I've done that have been the most effective have been customized Net Promoter Score surveys. And Net Promoter Score, you can just Google it. It's a methodology for gathering satisfaction. And typically you want to understand your customer journey. If you've never done a customer journey map, you might want to do one. And that's just simply mapping out what are the interaction points that your customer has with you, your existing customer, from the first time they contact you all the way through a typical life cycle. Now, certainly customers will have different interaction points one to another, but you can kind of come up with a basic journey. And maybe points along that journey are things like, the initial sales and marketing efforts, and then their exploration into the product or service and trying to learn more. And then at some point there's a point of time at which they're making a purchase from you, and then maybe you do some follow-up, and maybe there's a customer service option the customer might use, those types of things. And then maybe there's a renewal, or if you're on a subscription, or if not, maybe there's a repurchase opportunity. And maybe, ideally they're referring you to someone else. So that can also be a point on the customer journey. How do all of those things seem to go? And think about your Net Promoter Score or your customer satisfaction survey, measuring those different points of interaction and how each of them go.
Look at you. You're fancy. You know what's going on. Jeez. So, okay, does that stuff work for Net Promoter Score? Does that work for small businesses like 0 to 10 employees, all the way to 50 employees?
Absolutely. Yeah. The classic is Apple does an extremely good job with customer satisfaction, and typically has very high customer satisfaction scores. And this is both from the experience in their stores as well as, people's experiences with their iPhones or whatever. There are other companies that are kind of the classic losers in the customer satisfaction arena. And maybe I shouldn't say who those are, but you can imagine.
That was good. So then, wait a minute. First of all, how does someone get a hold of you? How does someone get a hold of the extraordinary Katy Klinkenberg?
Oh, you're nice to ask. Well, I have a website. It's called customer-success-management.com.
Can you say that one more time because I've already forgotten it?
customersuccessmanagement.com.
Gotcha.
And customer success and management are separated by dashes.
Very good, very good. And so what can we expect at that website? Are there added value elements, content, or what will I get when I go to that website?
Yeah, I put in there a dozen pointers for people to start thinking about in terms of their customer loyalty efforts and their customer marketing efforts. So just reading through the site, you'll probably start to go, there are things I could be doing that are that I'm not doing presently that I might want to explore.
Yeah. So a couple of questions. So wait a minute, can you do business all over the country?
Absolutely.
Oh, look at you, fancy lady. What's one example of something where you've totally turned a business around or your own unit around as far as whatever, at Getty or whatever?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
You're welcome for asking. I'm good at that stuff.
Well, one thing that I've done, I think, 3 different companies is built extremely great teams who work on customer marketing and customer experience, customer success. And I think finding really good people is a key skill, because oftentimes those people are going to even outlast you at the company. That benefit of bringing in a good person will last potentially longer than you're even there. And I like to build departments from the ground up. I started the marketing department at Getty. I started the customer experience department at Avalera, and I started a customer success department at my last company, Community for Children. And coming up with the systems and the processes and the strategies and so forth for how those departments operate is kind of my superpower.
I didn't even know that. So you set up all the systems. What's too small of a client for you then?
I actually love, it's not what I advertise on my website, but I love working with small companies. So I'm working with a small architectural firm right now on everything from how to help with certain management challenges to what systems shall we buy to manage our projects better to what should I do about creating a new website. We're creating a new website for them. And I'm not actually doing the work, but I've found a website designer. So I love working with small companies because honestly, it's more personal and interesting than working in a big corporation.
I can say working with her really works. She's awesome. A few people are better. Actually, no one's better except for my wife. But other than that, you're the best. Ted would say he's better. But anyway, Ted's one of my good friends, by the way. What about as an entrepreneur? Talk to me about the entrepreneurial journey. Because right now, I think you've got 2 kids who flew the coop, and now it's just you're having to raise your husband. Tell me about being an entrepreneur, kind of now that you're in the younger 40s.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about being the entrepreneur in that journey and where you are right now.
Let's see. Actually, I love the freedom and creativity of being an entrepreneur. And in this phase of life, when you have had a lot of career experiences and maybe are looking for something that's offers you a little more freedom and a little more opportunity to create something that's truly yours, being an entrepreneur is great. I love the creativity part of it. I love the getting up in the morning and think, what can I do to make this thing happen?
Was it scary when you first went down that road of being an entrepreneur?
I first became an entrepreneur when I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I was in that flurry of making everything just happen. So I didn't have time to be intimidated by the process.
I remember that, by the way. Good times.
Yeah. It's a great time to launch a business.
2 scary things, having a kid and launching a business. Yeah. What about financially? Are you glad financially that you decided to go out on your own?
Yeah. I love the fact that I have control over how much I work and how much I earn.
What's the toughest part to be an entrepreneur?
I think the toughest part is not knowing where your next client might be. Not, sometimes you find that, things have slacked off a little. And even as a marketer, I will say that one of the hardest parts of running a business is marketing yourself. And that's just, you got to kind of grit your teeth and do it.
So what's your perfect client, or avatar as the kids call it nowadays?
My favorite client?
The type of client that you're going for, you specifically, that Katy's going for.
I see. I'm interested in small entrepreneurial companies, ones that are making change and doing something fun and new and interesting, where the people involved are excited about it. I love working in that slightly chaotic, creative, early stage environment.
Interesting. What about with a lot of our clients and listeners and viewers are real estate people, either agents, brokers, or commercial property loan originators that have their own company. Is that that kind of group you would be interested in working with?
Absolutely. I worked with a local real estate company with their marketing campaigns and kind of helping them figure out what their strategies were. And so I love it. It's a great business to be in because there's so much potential, and it's a visual, it's a as far as the advertising and so forth, it's visual and visually creative too, and I think that's a fun part of marketing to engage in.
I'm having fun here with my little kid here. What's one example of a client where you've totally, or a client or unit where you've totally turned them around? All of a sudden, they were doing really badly, and you cleaned them up, and now they're just a big time going concern.
Let's see. We have a local company, or started as a local company here, Avalera, which is they provide tax automation, sales tax automation. And I joined the company when it was still quite small and headquartered on Bainbridge Island, just about a block from where we are sitting right now. And they, in the time that I was there, I don't know, quadrupled maybe. And I really helped them establish their customer marketing, customer communications. And that was important there because it was a SaaS company. Their clients needed to renew at the end of each contract, or you would lose them. So you need to keep clients like that happy on an ongoing basis, or they're going to bail and use the competition. So anyway, during the time I was there, Avalera grew quite a bit, and then did an IPO, and they are now maybe 10 times the size that they were. I don't work with them now.
Is it fair to say it's all because of you?
It is not fair to say. No. I was one small piece of it.
I don't think that your customers. I think your customer service stuff helped. I can tell it probably helped. So then, interesting. What's one example of a client? Then this is a tough question, of a client where they were just really tough to get over the hump, and finally, when they got over the hump, things changed for them. They had an aha moment. That's a tough question. Can you think of one of those clients where they were very, very resistant? All of a sudden, they really listened to what you said, and then boom, everything changed. Tough question.
I think, yeah. So there's a company, a curriculum publisher in Seattle that I consulted for years, probably 12 years, in the early, from 2000 to 2012, and they were publishing curriculum. It was printed curriculum for schools. And then I heard through the grapevine they were going digital. So I wrote a note to the CEO and asked if they would be interested in my help, because I had been working at Avalera for a SaaS company, and I knew that they were going to have a lot of the same challenges as a SaaS company if they were selling digital curriculum, because it was going to need to be on an annual renewal cycle, and they were going to have a lot of the same sort of issues in offering technology that they hadn't offered before that a typical SaaS company has. You got to keep things online. You need to manage what happens when your system goes down, what happens when customers are having technical problems, all of that stuff. So I kind of anticipated that they were going to have a whole set of needs that they didn't even know about yet. You don't know what you don't know. And I explained to the CEO, look, these are all going to be challenges for you, and maybe I can help you because I know the company and I've been working on this stuff at another SaaS company. And so that's when she brought me in to establish a customer success and support department, and that there was a small customer support department already, but take that over and really help them kind of approach business in a whole new way. So I think that was a big aha for them because they really didn't know how many challenges they were going to have. And they did, and we were able to overcome them. But
it's tough going from being a brick and mortar, let's say, to all of a sudden online.
Yeah.
I think more and more companies are doing that,
Yeah.
and I think it's tough. It sounds like that's one quasi specialty.
Yeah, I guess it is.
So, like maybe a good market would be like CPAs, financial planners, maybe insurance people, kind of the groups that are still back in the old school, like that still have brick and mortar, and they're still doing things via application, and then you're good at like kind of switching them over to online to SaaS as an example.
Absolutely. Helping them anticipate what issues they're going to have in doing things in a more digitized environment, and how do you get on top of those, and then be able to work with customers in a way that customers are going to accept it and work well with it.
Yeah, but isn't that scary? Because you have a business owner who's, I'm making this up, might make $2,000 on a transaction, and then all of a sudden they go digital and they're making whatever $9.99 on per month, let's say, on a transaction. Is that a scary thing for a business owner? I would think so.
You can be, although in terms of revenue projections, you can. It's a much more stable business model because you know what you're going to be making ongoing, as long as you retain customers, and usually you know kind of what your retention rate is, or you figure out what your retention rate is, but you can maybe set goals for your retention rate at 90% or something like that year to year. Then you've got, you bring a customer on, you've got revenue not just for this year, you've got revenue for the next 10 years until, maybe you lose them in year 9 because you have a 90% retention rate. You can make that projection. The revenue model is much more stable
because it's passive income, or what I call mailbox money. You wake up, go out to the mailbox, you have a check there.
Yeah.
And what you're good at is coming in and making sure that people stay, hopefully 90, 100% of the time.
Keeping that retention rate high is absolutely one of the most important metrics you will measure in your business.
So you're becoming more and more important. Your job, what you provide as a service, is becoming more and more important to small business owners because everyone's going online now.
I'm glad you intuited that, Hunter.
So once again, how does someone get a hold of you there, Katy?
Let's see. My website is www.customer-success-management.com. customersuccessmanagement.com. Yeah. And my name is Katy Klinkenberg.
How about in closing, what's one thing that you think that you really need to get off your chest so that people really can walk away as an entrepreneur, let's say in the marketing or any of the realm, that would therefore be better off based on what you're just about to tell them? We need one nugget of advice for an entrepreneur. Go.
Always remember the importance of your existing customers. Your customers' satisfaction, retention, and their future sales are, the potential there is like gold. And new customers that you attract, they're silver and they may turn into gold as well, but make sure you're protecting that core group of existing customers.
Having a moat around your business, per se.
Yes.
Kenneth French, I'm out. That was good. Nice job there, buddy.
Thanks.